You're listening to the Life Friendly Business Podcast. I'm your host, Erin Thomas Wong, business mentor, author, and founder of the Cocoon VIP membership, empowering women around the world to build businesses on their terms. If you want to grow and scale a business that works in harmony with your family and your life, this podcast is for you. When everything feels too much, when you're juggling multiple hats like caring for kids or relatives, life admin, stresses in your business, stresses in relationships, it can be tempting to take a step back and press pause, especially if you have kids coming up on extended school holidays. And if you're the only person in your business or the face of your business, it might feel impossible for you to switch off, which can lead to feeling quite trapped in your business. However, this is the Life Friendly Business Podcast, and I'd like to help you to create a business that you can dial up and dial down when needed, but one that doesn't need to stop. We all know how much more effort it takes to start up a freezing cold car in the winter. But if we keep the engine purring away, the car stays warm, and when we're ready, we can easily glide into action. I'd like you to think about your business like that engine. So instead of stopping and starting and constantly having to warm up the engine again, and really what we're talking about is building up your presence again, building up your visibility again, building up your client list again, if you keep stopping and starting, wouldn't it be so much easier to get some systems and processes into place so that those things are always ticking along and keeping the engine warm, even if you can't work as many hours because of your other commitments? Extended school holidays do not mean that you need to let your engine go cold, even if you don't actually want to be working during that time. I find that school holidays are really fantastic for some blue sky thinking as well. So when we step back from the normal day-to-day of our routines, actually it opens us up to some creative thinking time, and we can look around and take inspiration from all the different things that we're doing. So even if you might not have time to sit at your desk, it can be a fantastic time to be inspired. But this all sounds too good to be true, right? So, how on earth do you keep your business going when actually you haven't got any time to work on it? Don't worry, I'm going to give you some things to think about. But first of all, I thought I'd just give you a bit of an overview as to how this works in my business and how I keep the engine warm. So as mentioned in episodes 1 and 2, this is my 5th business in the last 13 years. And during that time, I've learned an awful lot about what makes something life-friendly and what does not. So in my business, I have multiple offerings or multiple income streams. So in terms of keeping the engine warm, it varies for each of them. The Cocoon is my main product, my main offering, and that's my monthly subscription group. So I provide all the content for that, or I organize experts to come in and create content. I am in the Facebook group, hosting the group, being there to answer questions, being there to start conversations, and also making sure that I've always got fresh stuff to help teach these women more about building their business, more about building their confidence. So during school holidays and things like that, I can be really organized with arranging lots of stuff in advance. And then really, I just need to be there. I need to check in on a daily basis and see if anyone has any questions. If I literally want to take some time off completely, then I can ask someone else. I've got an online business manager to go in and be that person, be that point of contact in the group. I also offer one-to-one mentoring. Now, obviously, this needs me to be present. So unless there is an emergency with my clients, I try to schedule these calls during term time. But of course, I have the flexibility that if they desperately need me, that I'm able to move things around and allocate that during the school holidays. But what I need to be doing to keep the engine warm with the mentoring is keep letting people know that it is available and that it is something that I do. So you're kind of dropping the seeds and letting people know that you're there, you're available for one-to-one mentoring. Even if I'm not available at that time during that week, during that school holiday, I can still be selling mentoring packages for them to start during term time. I also run the Evolve Mastermind, which is an amazing intimate group for a maximum of 6 women. And we work together every week to give them the support, wraparound support to be able to build their business. So these run during term time. But once again, even if I'm not actually running a mastermind at the time, I need to be out there with my marketing. And I also host the Impact Interactive online workshops 3 times a year. So I need to make sure that the messages are getting out there, even if I don't have an event coming up. So what I need to do is plan ahead for the year, taking into account the school holidays and also the busy times of year in terms of my business. Like, for example, September and January, people often start back and they're raring to go and they want support to help take their business to the next level. So for me, keeping the engine warm really comes down to 3 things. Number 1, my top priority is keeping my members and my clients happy, making sure that they've got everything they need. Number 2, I need to keep marketing. I need to keep visible, keep my messaging out there so that people have me top of mind when they're ready to get support. And number 3, I need to keep planning. So as I mentioned, I actually love the fact that when I step away from the day-to-day of my normal work schedule, that actually it opens up this creativity. So I love to give myself that space to be thinking about my future projects, future ideas for podcasts, those kind of things. So that's something that I do. So the 3 ways that I keep my engine warm for my business are to keep my members and clients happy, keep marketing, keep visible, and keep on planning. So it's really easy to, when you look at, for example, the summer holidays in the UK, they're 6 weeks, but I know that in Italy, for example, they're 14 weeks. It feels like a really big chunk of time. And if you can't actually service people during that time because you're off with the kids, it's really easy to start panicking about your income. I've absolutely been there. But that's why it's really important to have different products, different offerings, different multiple income streams so that you can see an overview of the year and you can think, okay, I know that I haven't got income coming in August, but it's okay because September and October, I can do this, this, and this to increase my income. So as I mentioned, marketing and keeping yourself visible is something that's really, really crucial. And I always try to plan ahead to do this. So now, I have the podcast and that will be going out every Wednesday during the summer, but also I'll be putting out social posts. They'll all be scheduled in advance. So even if I am not on social media all the time, I know that those messages are going out. So I'm still in people's minds when the kids go back to school in September and they're ready to take action and get support in their business. So even if you are not available for client work or have limited capacity for creating the product that you sell, it's really important to keep up the marketing because you want to be getting new people all the time into your funnel so that you can nurture the relationship with them. So how can you keep the engine warm in your business and save yourself all those spluttery cold starts? Okay, here are 3 things for you to be thinking about. Number 1, map your year. Plan out your promotional periods. Think about when you're available for face-to-face work, when you're not, when you have capacity to make more products, when you don't. Also, you can review your finances so far, like which are the best months for you generally, when do you make the most income, when are things quiet, and plan your year accordingly. And the more we do this, the more relaxed we can feel about the fact that you might have to take a step back during August, dial your business down because of other commitments like looking after your kids. Number 2, use schedulers and email automation so that you've got these systems and processes in place. Now, I know that there's been talk about whether if you use a scheduler for social media, whether you reach as many people as if you post organically. We kind of did a little bit of a test, myself and my online business manager, and there wasn't really a huge difference. And for me, being able to schedule things in advance, I know that I have got a consistent presence out there. So for me, that outweighs any issues there might be with the reach. I just want to know that that stuff's going out there, especially when I'm having to take my foot off the gas a little bit. Use your schedulers like Buffer, for example, or Hootsuite, whatever it is that you want to use, to keep the conversation going with your audience. Offer them inspiration. Educate them about the things surrounding your product or service. So even if you don't have anything to sell right now, you still need to be putting those posts out there to stay top of mind. And you can repurpose blog posts and things like that. Like, make sure that you've still got those messages going out. Also, I mentioned email automations. So do you have nurture sequences in place? So when people buy your product or service, do you have an email that says, thank you for buying, this is how you use it, this is how you access a service? And then you can check in with them on that email nurture sequence as well, in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month's time. So you know, even if you are not in your business sitting at your desk, that you have got this connection with your customer. And they know that you are there at the end of an email. If they need something, they can just hit reply. And number 3, this is a really, really crucial one. In order to keep your engine warm during periods where you do not have as much work time available, you need to be really clear on your 5% activities. Now, this is based on something that James Wedmore talks about, who's a digital marketer. And he talks about the fact that actually only 5% of our activities are the things that will actually move the needle on our business. And we can get so lost in the 95%. The 95% can be the things that we are doing every day. We're so busy. But actually, we're not seeing any change in our business, or we're not making the money that we want to be making. And it's because we're spending way too much time focusing on the 95%. And let's be clear here, we don't have time to be faffing. We want to build a life-friendly business. We do not want to be sitting at our computer for 50 hours a week. So think about what your 5% activities are. These are the really important things. These are the things that keep your clients happy. These are the things that get you your sales. And if you're really not sure what these are, please reach out. This is something that I can help you with. But if you know what your 5% activities are, even if you have 10 minutes a day to work, if you focus on your 5% activities, you're going to keep your engine warm and your business is going to grow. My message really is, don't be a slave to your business. Like I said at the beginning, you know, when you run a business on your own, or you're the face of your business, it's really easy to feel trapped and feel like you can't possibly take a holiday. But you can. You need to be organized, and maybe you need to outsource, and you need to get someone who's got your back so that if you want to take time off, they can organize things for you. So a fantastic example of this, because the fact is that life will throw obstacles in your way. It's inevitable. For me, back in 2019, I had a herniated disc. Absolutely horrendous. Obviously, there's all this time when you're in this pain and you're not sure what it is. And then I had an MRI to confirm it. But the amazing thing in terms of my business is that I already had my support network in place. I had my online business manager. I also had a business mentor. So even though I was in a lot of pain, and for those of you who live with chronic pain, my hat goes off to you, because it was horrendous and obviously really affected how clearly I could think, and, you know, motivation and all those things. But because I had that support network, it meant that everything kept running. It meant that even though I had much less capacity to be thinking about things and about doing things, from the outside, my business still ran as usual. And yes, I had to postpone a few one-to-one sessions, but otherwise things worked well. And it's because I had my systems and processes in place. And we all know, you know, with having kids, like, they can be off school, they can be off sick at the moment, they could be off isolating with COVID, or after being in a bubble with someone with COVID. So there are all these reasons why you need to get your systems and processes and your support network in place. Because if you do, it makes it much easier to bend like a willow tree when these things are thrown at us, and still keep on track and make progress in your business. So if you've got extended holidays coming up, or periods when you know you won't be able to focus on your business, just keep this in mind. It's a lot easier to ramp the business back up if you've kept the engine warm. I hope you found today's episode useful. Please do share with anyone who might also find value in it. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Honestly, it can feel like there is a lot you need to learn when building a thriving business. And it's easy to feel like you'll never know everything you need to be successful. But it is possible, just so long as you stay focused on building the right knowledge and skills. When you join the Cocoon VIP membership, you'll have the opportunity to book a one-to-one orientation call with me, and I'll help you to prioritise the activities that will have the biggest impact on your business and direct you to the materials in the library that you need. There's no need to learn it all. We'll just focus on the things that'll make the biggest difference to you. We have everything you need to build a life-friendly business. So check out the Cocoon now at lifefriendlybusiness.com/cocoon.